stuff. And so here's what the banks don't tell you, right? You're going to keep getting denied because your business isn't structured correctly, right? You're going to keep getting denied because you're trying to do business with banks that aren't compatible with your industry.
So key right there. So
you're
key
going
right
to
there.
keep getting denied if your personal if your personal credit profile is weak. This means you don't have enough credit, age, or positive history. But you guys are a part of this program. Obviously, every single person in here got in here at one point or another because you were binge watching rad stuff on YouTube. And so that just lets me know that a lot of you guys understand credit at a level that most Americans don't understand credit, because you guys were pretty much watching it so damn much on YouTube versus Netflix. So big kudos to you guys, because most Americans aren't doing that right now, and they should be. Applying for the wrong funding products in the wrong order. Mega screw up. Your file keeps getting flagged by the banks. So information mismatch, appearing as high risk, business is too new, the whole 9 yard, right? I could probably even add in there, if I don't, business revenue. Sometimes it'll flag as well if it's not telling like the right story, or business revenue if it's reporting different revenues across different boards. You're gonna see some good stuff on this call, and we're gonna be seeing some parrots coming up. So again, never before release this, so you guys are gonna get it firsthand here, especially if Rad ever decides to release it.
The parrots are out. The parrots are out, man. The parrots are out.
Especially if Rad decides to release this over to YouTube. Check this out. Don't just wait for the denial letter to come at your doorstep. I want you guys to look at your credit reports to see what the heck is going on. And I don't just want you to look at your credit reports, because your credit report is going to tell you the basic stuff. Oh, I had too many hard inquiries. Oh, I had too many new accounts. Oh, I don't have, I only have $2,500 on my highest account. That's the basic level stuff. Let's go a little bit deeper than that. I want you guys to pay attention to these 3 data furnishing companies. I think in the next slide, I may have more, and I think I may have forgot to go back and fix it. So if it does, I'm not sure if I did, but if it does, we kind of wanted to prepare you guys for it. EWS. If you guys have never heard of EWS, it's inside of their name. They're an early warning service, early warning system. Essentially, what they do is, and I'll show you guys the next slide here because it's going to be fun. But essentially what they do is they are flagging. I want to say they have over 2,500 clients, both credit unions and banks, that they're letting them know, hey, this file is a potential file that's going to be closing. It's a potential file that's not going to pay overdraft fees. It's a potential file that's going to be overdrafting. It's a potential file that does a lot of chargebacks with credit cards when they make payments. Guys, that stuff gets flagged. So especially for my business owners, have you ever had a product or a service that you're trying to sell, and you charge the client, or the client is trying to buy it online, and it gets denied, and you read the little code on the bottom and it says do not honor, or it says warning? Like I know for a fact Stripe does this. I know for a fact, not PayPal, who's the other one? Easy Pay has done it before, because I've used pretty much all of them. And so whenever you see a code that says do not honor, or whenever you see a code that says high risk, don't take payment, or was denied because of the payment was trying to be or was denied because the payment was going to get taken, that's why right there, because that file has been flagged for either a lot of chargebacks or they've asked for a lot of refunds. And so it's always gone back to that client right there. That right there, as a business owner, something that you really want to know, because that's something that I want to know, because I may want to see, I may not want to charge this person. I may just let this one slide, say, hey, no, I don't think I can service you because of what I see on the screen. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And it's saved us thousands and thousands of dollars, because these systems don't lie. And so it's not, I don't just want you to watch this to get business credit. I also want you to pay attention to this as a business owner that's out there providing services, and you're getting hit with some of these chargebacks or some of these refunds, and you're like, what the hell? Why? I provided everything that I did. That's why. So pay attention, because those systems are all talking to each other, and they're all getting it from this. These are the owners, by the way. I hope that you guys are familiar with some of these names, because I am.
Oh,
PNC, Bank of America, US Bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, Capital One, BB&T. Those are the owners of this data. Rad, I always forget how to say it, bro. How do you say it? The whole thing about data.
Data is the new oil.
You guys know how much data they have on us? Do you guys know why? Do you guys know why Elon Musk right now? They're saying, yeah, you know, we're trying to combat AI, dude. They want data.
Dude.
Why do you think Elon Musk is trying to combat ChatGPT, OpenAI? Google came out with their version of it. Dude, they want data. Why do you think
it's a battle of AI right now, bro?
it's a
And
battle of AI? Yes.
they're
it's all
actually trying to come up with legislation to control it because it's going to be such a disruptor in the space that it's going to replace jobs, and then it's going to happen
100%.
automatically. So it's like, but the thing is like it's almost like, man, it's like the unicorn just walked in the room, because with this economic time the way that it is, I don't think it's happened by accident, but that's a little conspiracy theory of me. But this thing is literally hitting at the time where it's most sensitive in our economy right now. Like, it's like the new content creators will be those who can leverage AI
Yes.
in a personality and use their personality, almost a blend of transhumanism in a
100%.
sense, leveraging the robot in a very creative, artistic way, right? That's the new content creator, right? It's not, it's like, guys, get ready. Like, you're gonna have to, like, you thought having to get online and email marketing and text marketing, and like the next is metaverse, the next is AI, the next is blockchain. Like, this is happening. Like, you're not gonna get away from it. You might as well embrace it now, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind. Technology keeps advancing and evolving, and those that embrace change and are fluid with change and can be fluid with that system is going to win in the end. So, you know, if you guys have not watched the call on emerging tech, go down to DLT Crypto in the classroom and watch the call with my boy. And we talked AI, we talked VR, we talked NFTs, we talked all of that stuff for, I don't know, 5 hours or something like that. It was a crazy conversation. You guys are definitely going to want to know that, because we talk about all the tools that you can use in AI for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And bro, imagine what AI is going to be doing even with early warning right now. Imagine when we have more AI, right? More intense AI, right? These companies are battling who can have the best AI, right? It's like,
and that's the thing. It's the AI knows in a weird way us more than we know ourselves. That's why it knows the exact products to pitch you when you're surfing the web, and you're like, man, how did I end up buying that thing? Boom, they hit you because they see, they hear your cadence, they see what you're looking at, they see how long you stay on a screen for, they see if you don't scroll. Oh, got their attention. Okay, he was on this screen or she was on this screen for for 5 seconds. The screen before that or the post before that was only 1 second. Okay, let's not show them that again. And so they're curating a new reality around you. I mean, look, we're already kind of like in the AI in terms of how we already function. Something you said that was really interesting. I don't want to get too much off topic here, but something that you said was interesting was the creator that's going to win is the one that kind of, pairs up with it, right? Almost like what's the word I'm looking for, bro? Is it a cyclops, or what is that?
Man, I'm not too sci-fi, man. I'm not too. That's more story. That's not me, man.
So I'll give you an example. So everyone has one of these, right? Our phones. And so if I were to tell somebody right now, everyone with the phones down, only one person can have the phone. What's 3,265,000 times 2001 divided by 4? Only the person with the phone can tell me what the math is. How fast that person going to get it done? That's like the best illustration that I can give you. Like the thing that they taught us in school saying, "Oh, you're not gonna have a calculator when you're going around." Dude, we're way past that. We're way past that with where technology is going. But anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because technology is here to stay. I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, banks are using AI to underwrite your file," but they don't actually tell you how they're using AI. This is how they're using AI right here. So the first one that I want to give you guys is EWS. Obviously, like anything else, remember what I mentioned earlier, at surface level, you're going to be checking your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, in addition to whatever letter they send you in the mail of why you got denied. So obviously, you're going to be checking all of that because you're going to be kind of seeing, okay, let me do my homework. Let me see why I was denied. And I'm going to give you guys some different keys of how you can kind of monitor and audit yourself, right? So that you can see, okay, before I go back out for funding, let me see what I need to audit. Let me see what I need to fix. At that point, once you have all three of those credit reports pulled up, you have pretty much the denial that they send you. I also would like for you to get a copy because you're entitled to it every 12 months for free. is a copy of your consumer reports with them as well, and that's EWS. I want you to see what type of data is on there. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what type of data they're pulling on you. You'd be surprised some of the accounts that you thought weren't reporting, or maybe accounts that you thought when you were in college, like, wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot I even had that Wells Fargo account. I forgot I even had that Bank of America card. Man, I forgot I ever overdrafted. I was so young. Or man, I was going through a tough time. I thought I paid that off. Like when I made the move, I moved to another state. I closed the PNC account. I opened up a Bank of America. I got myself into Navy Fed. I totally forgot I had that other account. I didn't even know that I owed them a balance. Like,
or that cable bill that they told you paid it off, but they sent you a final bill and you never got it because you moved.
And it's petty.
There, right? Right. Wow.
And
cable.
It's petty, dude. It's petty. Dude,
Yeah.
It's happened to me. Like, no shame. It's happened to me. Spectrum hit my ass with I don't know if I can curse, but Spectrum hit my ass with a freaking bill. I'm like, bro, 120? You guys could have just called me for this. You didn't have to freaking put this on my report. Like, I've been there before. I get it. It's no shame in it. So I want you guys to monitor that.
So can people everybody's gonna go want ChexSystems. Jerry's waiting for the ChexSystem play. But can people challenge the EWS? Like when somebody pulls that, can they opt out? What are their rights with this?
So essentially the same way that you would with checks, and I have a whole slide deck on it. So Rad keeps beating me to it, but with EWS, you can essentially dispute it. So you would dispute it directly with them, like you would with Lexus Nexus, like you would with SageStream, like you would with checks, like you would with a traditional credit bureau. Remember, whenever like you're disputing like a hard inquiry, we go directly at the bureau. It's the same thing with the check system. And so if you see any information on there that's dated, or you tell them, dude, I already paid for that, or you see it's old as hell, it's like 7 years, you're like, no, this is old. You would pretty much the same way that you would dispute it, you would write the letter, you will send it off to them. Now, I don't have that slide on here, but when you hit your consumer report right on there, it has exactly how you can file to get your report. It's super easy, guys. It's actually easier than just trying to get it from any other of these credit bureaus, right? So you would just go ahead and submit for the request to get access to it. And then on there, you also have the address and the fax number of how to send these disputes out to them as well. And so again, I didn't have it on here because we had so much ground to cover. But again, it's really straightforward. And if they have any issues with it, they can post it inside of school, and we can walk them through it.
Okay.
So ChexSystem. How many of us have heard of checks? Hopefully most of us, because this was pretty out there. So 1, if we've heard of them. 2, if we haven't. Let me know what we got in the chats, bro.
Yep, people know about them.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I love the fact that they know about them, because I want to show you how to monitor them, and I want to show you what they monitor. So the first thing is they're watching the number of accounts that you've applied for recently. So this is why I'm not a big fan of just shotgunning a bunch of applications. And I want you to have actual data points. I want you to have actual proper finesse, rather than just being ragged and sloppy and just submitting a bunch of stuff and seeing what hits. That's the whole purpose of this call. The whole purpose of this call, right? So that you can get away from having to do that. So you can get away from someone just running up a bunch of inquiries on your credit report, hoping something sticks, and then they come back and say, hey, I got you X amount. When it was a sloppy job that you probably could have done with 1, less inquiries, and 2, less applications submitted. So ChexSystem is going to be that company that's going to monitor the number of accounts that you've recently pretty much gone for. Overdrafts, bounce checks, unpaid fees, accounts open and accounts closed. That's voluntary and involuntary, by the way, for the account closures. Suspected fraud or identity theft. So anytime that we have a fraud alert that gets hit on our account. So this is why you also want to be careful of who you contact for credit repair, because these FTC reports are fraud reports.
Oh my God, dude.
And this stuff ends up
go there with this, please go there. Stuff,
yeah, dude. And this stuff ends up hitting inside of our credit profiles. And so it ends up reporting over to checks, which is, by the way, it's just one of the systems. It's not all the systems. It could hit EWS as well. EWS monitors almost the same as checks. They're just a different company. So you want to check both, because you could be getting hit on one of these systems versus the other, similar to like a credit bureau, where one credit bureau has a collection and the other one doesn't. Similar to this. And so that FTC report, they fill out the affidavit, whatever the hell they do to get it, swept or sweeped off of your credit, however you say it. what ends up happening is, yes, you got it off, but it also came with a big Band-Aid, which is now you pretty much get hit with like a little fraud sticker, or victim of fraud is really what I should say. Identity theft is why they're able to get it off so fast, apart from getting your entire credit profile swept. So when you get your complete credit profile swept, you're pretty much starting from scratch, which sucks. So I would rather just attack one account. And even if I can't get that account off completely, like on a full sweep, I'd rather have that approach versus a full sweep, because it's gonna end up damaging more on the back end. Account, card, and ATM abuse, which is something else that I wanted to cover. ATM abuse is a couple of different things. ATM abuse is the constant in and out of how much money you're constantly withdrawing. And so if you guys notice, your banks, everyone's bank is a little bit different but sometimes you have 5 to 7 withdrawals that you can make in a week, sometimes 5 to 7 withdrawals that you can make in a month. They'll consider that abuse if you're in there and every time you get paid and you're just withdrawing the full amount. I know that's not the game that, we like to play. I know that sometimes I like to have my cash on me so that I can make some moves with it. I'm sure that you're the same way, but you also want to monitor, okay, hey, if I'm pulling out way too much, way too many times, they could count that as abuse. And so that starts to look like, oh, this person could be doing some type of activity that we need to pay attention to.
So what's crazy about this is your own dang money, right? And so like,
that's the crazy part.
It's crazy because you can deposit $50,000, $100,000 in the bank. They'll gladly take it. You go to the bank and say, hey, I want to take out 50, 100,000. They're going to say, what for? You need to sign this document, right? They're going to be like tracking you. All this type of stuff is absolutely ludicrous. It is. Like, this is your money, man. This is your money. But this is the reality, is the more technology comes, the more monitoring comes, the more, like, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is our new world we're living in. Yep. So just be aware of the conditions. Like, the ATM abuse is absolutely crazy to me, because you should be able to take out whatever money you want, when you want it, for whatever purpose you 100%. Want it. It's none of the damn bank's business, to be honest with you. But I'm really glad that you said this, because ChexSystems also, guys, and this is what me and Credit Plug talk about all the time, is that you got to make sure that you're not applying for too many bank accounts. You're not going to all these credit unions at the same time. Okay. That FTC report thing is major in credit repair. You need to ask people, how are you removing my inquiries? What are you doing? What is the challenge being done? Because if it is the FTC, you're basically lying, saying this a bunch of fraud, right? Like, guys, you got to understand that listen, I don't like the banks either. I don't like the banking system either. Right. But like, you're putting on paper, and that's why they have you sign affidavits, right? So they can legally represent you. That's why funding companies, they sign a power of attorney, an affidavit, so that way they can get away with saying whatever they want on behalf of you. So they could say, yeah, he made $300,000. That's what they told me to say. Mm-hmm. So you got to understand the dirtiness of credit repair and funding companies. And listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Like, oh my God, like, do you guys understand how many arrows I'm in front of right now with this? Do you understand how many bees nests? Do you understand I'm going against the entire system with this? And I'm kind of like bringing Irv into this by accident, but like, do you understand that I'm going against a system that makes multi millions and billions of dollars by keeping the system alive? Do you understand that I am losing tons of money by not doing it? I'm not going to work with any credit repair company and no funding company. And that's just literally my conviction. And the reason why is because when I put my name on something, then I indirectly or directly co-sign on it. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm literally following my conviction. And I'm just saying, hey, here's credit education for you. Take care of your credit, protect your credit, leverage your credit. Be ethical, be integritable, work hard, be a good human. Let's do this thing differently. Let's do this on the clean side, because we all want our credit fixed. We all want our credit repaired. We can do that. We can still get out of this hellhole by adding positive trade lines and positive payment history. I can help you with credit repair by helping you get cards and banks that will work with you, and you can start getting good payment history, and you can work yourself out of this craziness. And now maybe you'll recognize, hey, I need to own my behavior, because really credit is behavioral, right? Do you keep your word? Do you make your payments? Do you screw people over? Do you not pay them? Listen, I've had horrible credit. I had horrible behavior. So I know this. I can say that because I couldn't even get the worst credit card at one point. So I come from the absolute bottom of credit, like never even having credit till I'm 30, right? That's crazy. Learned it from YouTube and fixed it and all this type of stuff. But guys, like, I just want people to know here in this program that, like, I'm just very, very passionate about treating people right and putting people before profit. And that's part of the reason my program is so cheap, is because I've continued to keep it this way, because as my reach goes on YouTube, I'm finding out like how many people really want this information and how powerful this community is. And you know what? I'm just going to keep this price and get as many people in here and get people having a good community, having good leadership, having good connections, people coming here because they want the credit, but I really want to show them how to build sustainable businesses and have a powerful network and build offers and create systems and scale with systems. If you have no system, you have no business. If you have no revenue, you have no business. Like, I'm not about the CPNs. I'm not about the age corps. We're going to talk about age corps here today. We are, because here's the deal, guys. Like, I'm going to get a little bit ahead of the course, but age corp is buying a business, right? What is age corp basically meant for? I want to buy an old business so that way I can get funding for it. Okay, great. How are you getting funding for it? You're stating income to credit cards. So you go to Elon Financial, you go to US Bank, you go to Chase, and you say, my business that I just bought, that I've never filed a tax return for, makes $300,000, and I keep $150,000 stated income. Guess what you just did? You just committed a felony. You just committed bank fraud. Did you know that? You buying the business is not illegal. Saying your business is generating $300,000, $200,000, $400,000, that is bank fraud. And we need to call it what it is. We need to stop bullshitting ourselves. I want the funding too. Is it ethical? No. Is it wrong? Yes. FTC reports are wrong. They're unethical unless it's actually happened to you. FTC reports are there to protect people that actually had fraud committed to them. But we're leveraging this system to have a cheat code. And it's not right. It's not right. And we're leveraging age corps to get $250,000 in business funding and $500,000. And what happens when you go out and you can't pay that anymore? You're still personally guaranteeing the debt for the age corp people. Mm-hmm. You're lying on an application. You're guaranteeing it with your personal credit. And my God, I hope you're not called on it, because like these people know that these EINs aren't having tax returns done to them. Once again, it is an absolute worst mistake to be working with credit repair companies that will ship over your stuff to the Philippines, not care about you as a person, keep you on their system for a long time. You're at risk for identity theft. Do you understand that most of these people aren't even compliant with their CRMs? You want to give them your social security and all the information about you and just have that go overseas? I love the Philippines, man. I love it. I'm real close to it right now. There's no way in hell I want to donate my information to anybody with a credit cloud, CRM, and everything else that goes on there. Because right now, if you guys go to Upwork.com, everybody write this down. Go to Upwork.com and search for credit repair specialist. You want credit repair done? You can do it through a VA better than you can do it through a credit repair company. I mean, guys, this is way off topic, but like, Irv, man, like we're really, bro, you and I are really doing God's work out here. And we're literally, when they say you choose God or you choose money, I choose God, man.
100%.
I choose God, man, because bro, if you don't love people, you ain't shit. If you don't care about people, you're not shit. I'm sorry if that offends you, but that's the bottom line. You're either going to choose the money or you're going to choose the people. I'm going to choose the people. I'm going to give the truth. Even when people shoot shots at me, I'm trying to put a line in the sand here. I can lie if you want, or I can tell you the truth. You tell me what you want. You want the truth or you want a lie? The lie sounds sweet, right? The lie sounds sexy, but the truth is what's going to help you, right? So hopefully you guys hear my heart in that, man. That's my soundbite. I don't even know where that came from. It was just in me. I just needed you guys to know ChexSystems is not to be played with. EWS is not to be played with. FTC is not to be played with. H Corps is not to be played with. CPNs are not to be played with. Be careful. Let's keep rocking, bro.
In the words of Morpheus from The Matrix, all I'm offering is the truth.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm trying, bro.
Check this out. I won't add to that because I mean I can't touch that. But what I will say is this: don't mess around with the check system. Keep an eye on EWS. Keep an eye on the check system, and also Lexus Nexus. Now, you know, for a lot of us, you've been around the block a couple times. I know that Lexus Nexus isn't necessarily one that you maybe haven't not heard of, right? That's the thing. So you've most likely heard of it, right? So here's what they're going to monitor. They're going to monitor something called a clue report, right? The clue report is something that insurance companies are going to use both at a for residential and for auto to see how they're going to price you based off of the risk that you are or that you seem. So essentially what they do is if you've been arrested, if you've been in a car accident, if you know something happened in your house, hurricane, like whatever that is, anything that's attached to your name, your shingle came off, like whatever it is, that's going to get attached to that clue report. Super important to know because this is what they're using to underwrite a lot of us, right? Really, all of us. They're also going to take a look at this is when we start going more into the business side, business associations. So names of the businesses and where you're an officer in those businesses, as well as your title in those businesses. This is why similar to, I'm not a big fan of co-signing for someone. Like I'm a parent now. So I know that I'm going to have an opportunity to show my kids about credit if that system is still around, right? But if the system is still around, I'm going to pretty much help them out the same way that my parents helped me, right? Helping me out with some of the AUs, authorized users, helping them out if they need a co-signer to maybe get themselves into a real estate loan. They want to get into some real estate investing or to get their primary house, maybe co-signing on behalf of them so they can get their first vehicle. Like we're parents, we get it. For those of us that maybe siblings, parents did it for us. We're doing it for our brother or sister, people that we trust. But here's the caveat behind that. And here's why I add that in there, comma, right? I add that in there because sometimes it ends up biting us in the butt when we co-sign for people that don't end up paying for the debt. We've seen it. Some of our own parents have done it to us. Some of our cousins have done it. Maybe we've done it to people unintentionally. We were down and out. I'm not here to judge. But I say that because you also want to be careful of who you go into business with. Because the business associations that you have, so let's say if your cousin or your ex was maybe the owner of the first entity. So let's say you guys started maybe a Turo business together. Hey, let's do an LLC. We'll go 50-50 on the ownership. They're maybe the owner and maybe you're the president or maybe you're the CFO, like whatever it is that your title is in that business, that stuff is getting stored by Lexus Nexus. Super important to know. Real estate transactions and ownership data. I've talked about this before on podcasts. This was actually a really big soundbite. But I'll say on here again. So whenever you have like a foreclosure or if you have an eviction that's been reported before, most likely they're gathering that data from Lexus Nexus. That's also gathering that data from public record. A lot of people don't know that. But again, if you follow me or Rad for some time, you definitely know that. Records. So this is liens, judgments, bankruptcies, all by Lexus Nexus. Professional licenses, previous addresses, that goes for business and personal, by the way. So they're capturing both of those. Phone records. So this goes for work, business, and personal. Background checks. Again, if we've been arrested, we had a DUI, like whatever it is, not here to judge. Just telling you what they're monitoring, public record information. This is also used to determine child support collections and enforce that. So they've teamed up with SageStream. So there was like a merger there. And so whatever information the SageStream algorithm had, they also have it now inside of Lexus Nexus, which if you're wondering, before I go to this one, if you're wondering, the same way that you can dispute with the checks system, Same way that you can dispute, which by the way, I forgot to mention on here, it lasts up to 5 years when you're in the check system. And then from there, it's like the statute of limitations, it comes off. But you can, the same way that you can pull a report for EWS, the same way that you can pull a report for ChexSystem, is the same way that you can pull a report for Lexus Nexus. Remember, you're entitled to one free one every 12 months. You can dispute that information and get anything on it that's either dated or just erroneous, right? It shouldn't even be there to begin with, or just dated. Like, let's say you were arrested 18, whatever. I'm giving you like a crazy example. At 18, that was supposed to be expunged or come off of your record, but it's still there. You have the documentation to send that out. Like, hey, dude, like this is holding me back from getting access to some funding. This is holding me back from being able to work with certain lenders that they're looking at me like high risk. You're going to want to get that removed. And so you're going to do that by obviously going below the surface of just looking at your credit reports, but taking a look at these secondary bureaus and these data furnishing companies as well. TeleCheck. Rad, have you heard of TeleCheck?
Never, bro.
So TeleCheck is very simple with what they do. They are monitoring the transactions that you do in your business. And they're monitoring the checks that you write as well. And so if you've been writing checks that have been bouncing, or if you've been writing checks that maybe, I don't know, you wrote a check, it was, let's say, for $5K, and now your bank is at like $50, and it's like always like you're constantly hurting your bank rating. Remember what we spoke about last week? It's constantly bringing down your bank rating. Those little data points are getting sent back over to TeleCheck. So they're monitoring the strength of the payments that you're making as a personal and as business, and they're also monitoring the checks that you're writing. And so this all ties back into, again, your bank rating, and it also ties into how they're grading you as an individual and how they're grading you, your business. Now, clean up this information, which is essentially the same way that we've kind of been talking about all up to this point. Pull a copy of any of these reports that's holding you back. You want to dispute any or all of this information that's, again, erroneous, incorrect, or just dated. Shouldn't be on there to begin with. You want to contact the bank and or the original creditor to have the information updated as well. So that's like a side step, like a little side bubble or like a side thought. You can also contact the bank or the creditor directly and say, hey, I don't owe you guys anything. Why is it still reporting? Right? So that's like a little side step that you can do. So that way they can then furnish that information over to Lexus Nexus, over to the check system. And that way you can kind of come out of that system. You can also pay the original or negotiated balances to have it removed. Sometimes banks, I've done it with Amex, they wouldn't negotiate in order to come out of jail. I had to pay the full amount that I owed when I went to collections with them, right? I had to do what I had to do to get back into the system. I had to do what I had to do to come out of checks. One of the ways that I did it was by paying for it, right? If that information was wrong, and let's say, hey, I don't owe you guys anything, I already paid $1,500, it's still reporting. Obviously, at that point, I would bring it up to Lexus Nexus. Obviously, at that point, I would bring it up to the bank, tell them, hey, I already paid for this. Because at that point, it's not fraudulent. At that point, it's factual, right? That's factual disputing. You can also wait for the record to drop. A little sidebar on that is that takes up to 5 years. But in the meantime, you guys can also check out second chance banks and fintech companies. Are you guys familiar with second chance banks? Let me know in the comments. And I'm sure a lot of us are, because a lot of us have messed around with banks like Chime. Have you ever spoken on second chance banking, bro?
Not yet. Not yet.
I'm surprised you haven't, bro.
To, though. I plan to.
I'll talk about it tonight for you. How's that sound?
I love it, man. Bro, you are dropping so much. Guys, are you guys enjoying the EWS, the Lexus Nexus, the ChexSystems? I mean, I know you guys were wanting funding. We're still giving you the funding. But here's the thing.
Here's the thing, though. How do I say this? I talk a lot about fitness because I enjoy it. I'm not the most in shape guy, but I grew up playing baseball, sports, right? And so getting someone into shape isn't about getting them into the gym to lift for 45 minutes to an hour to get them in there and bust their ass. Getting someone into the shape is watching what they do the other 23 hours. So what's our sleep protocol? What's our nutrition like? Are we overeating or undereating? Are we staying hydrated? Are we getting vitamin D? What's our stress load like? Are we getting enough steps in when we're not sitting our butts in these desks, right? Coming off of the metaverse. The other 45 minutes is going to be way easier because the 45 minutes can compensate for the other 23 hours. So that's like personal training 101. Right. I'll tell you right now, bro, if anything else hits the fan, bro, I'll just go into the freaking fitness influencer space. But the reason
why how to make money on YouTube. I will get out of finance too. Listen, man, if it gets too crazy in finance, how to make money on YouTube, how to be a content. Bro, I'm
how to get in shape as a father of 4, how to get in shape as a busy business owner. We just start retargeting.
It's so much easier to do that work instead of this work. This stuff, man, bro. Dude, when you deal with people's money, bro, that's no joke. Like, there's people out in these streets that are goons with it, man. Like, this is no joke. We're messing with people's money, bro.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I bring this up, because you said something that was interesting, because it was what I was thinking when I was preparing the presentation.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to the funding part yet. The funding part is way easier once you figured out everything else. Meaning, if everything else is dialed in my day-to-day, I'm keeping my stress low, I'm staying hydrated, I'm not eating out every day, I'm cooking at home, I'm watching my calories, dude, the weight's gonna fly off. Or the other side of it is, if I'm trying to gain weight, obviously the more I eat, with the 45 minutes I spend at the gym, I'm going to add muscle way faster. I'm going to get in shape. And so I say all that to say is, when you have everything else on the back end that people aren't talking about dialed in, it makes, once you go to apply for the sequences that I'm going to give you, it's just going to, the funding is going to fly onto your file. And so that's why I'm setting it up the way that I am, because it's far more important when you have the actual mechanics versus just the flash in the pan. So with second chance banking, here's essentially what it is, man. You're able to work with banks that aren't going to grade you or grade against you in order to approve you to get you into the door. Meaning, if Bank of America, as an example, is determining when you're applying, you're putting social on the application, hey, I want to open up a checking account with you guys. Okay, cool. Apply right here, whatever it is, right? Let's say they take a look at the check system and they see that, oops, let's say they had, you had 2 accounts that you didn't even know about. They pulled it up on the EWS. They pulled it up on the check system. Oh, I didn't even know that I owed money with Wells Fargo or Chase. I didn't even know that. They say, well, guess what? We can't approve you here, right? Now, obviously, they won't tell you that right there. They'll just say, hey, you weren't approved. And so second chance banking, they look past the check system, meaning you're going to get a second chance to get yourself in the door so you can start getting some positive reporting back into that system. And so with the banks that I'm going to give you right now, this is going to be a nice side entry if you've been victim to that. And I say victim loosely, right? If you fell victim to being in part of the check system, you just didn't know what you didn't know. This is going to be some side steps that you can take so you can start building that back out. So here are some 7 second chance banks and fintech companies that I want you guys to check out. We're not holding
drop them gems. Drop them gems. Here we go. Here you go, Bank. Jerry. Here you go, bro.
ASOS Bank is going to be the first one. I say ASOS. Some people say Axos. I say ASOS. So ASOS Bank is going to be the first one. Second one is going to be Current. That's going to be Current Bank. Third one is going to be Woodforest National Bank. You guys know, you guys are smart.
Yeah, Woodforest is out in Ohio, bro.
Everyone's out in Ohio, bro.
I know, bro. All the good people from Ohio.
Everyone's out, bro. Ohio and Pennsylvania has like all the banks in the DMV area. I don't have anyone out here in Florida. It sucks.
I know, man. I know. You got
Woodforest. You guys are smart. A quick Google search, right? Lets you know, okay, let me see. Okay, let me pull up Google for let me pull up Woodforest National Bank. Let me go on their website. Let me see if they service my area. If not, at this point, we're kind of stepping away from the SBA side. This would be something that you may want to start taking a look at, some geographical side steps with some foreign entities, which I'm gonna be touching on here in the session today. But now we can start playing around with some geographic location or restriction side steps, right? Chime, not the biggest fan of Chime, but it is a good starter account for you to start getting some deposits in. You just got a job. You're finally starting to get some income coming in, or you have some income coming in. You don't want the mattress savings anymore. You're trying to get your foot back into the check system. Somebody that kind of starts reporting a little bit. I like Chime for what it is. It's just a nice account to have, right? But we all know what Chime did during stimulus checks. For those of us that got stimulus checks, those stimulus checks weren't hitting Chime accounts. They were bouncing back, and they were going back into pretty much the government fund. And a lot of people were waiting like, oh, you didn't know about that or no?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know about that.
I had to make like 5 YouTube videos on it.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
So yeah. So Chime was one of those banks, but you know, for what they are, like I said, I have them on the list for what they are, just because they're so easy to get into. So Chime is one of them. I'm sure that the majority of us are looking at second chance banking. This is usually the one that pops up like at the top of our radar. You probably didn't even know this, but Chase, you can also do like a little sidestep with Chase. Do they look at the early warning system? Yes. Do they look at checks? Yes, but they also look past that. One of the ways that you can get past that with them, it's really simple, is sometimes they just may require a little bit more down in your account. So let's say if to open an example, because they're always moving it, but let's say if to open an account and you're like, you have like stellar checks system, you've never been like a negative in the EWS system, it's like, hey, $25 to open up a personal account, right? But when you have, let's say you're coming out of, let's say the check system, sometimes they'll say, hey, in order for you to open an account with us, we need at least 300 in the account, or we need at least 500 in the account. Or if it's a new business, hey, we need at least 2,500 in the account. And you can't let that, amount drop for a 24-hour period, as an example. That would be kind of like a side step that you could do with Chase. Again, it's going to vary by everyone, but I just don't want you to be surprised if you go there and they tell you something like that. Next one is Ameris Bank. We actually got them out here in Florida. I don't know if you guys got them out there in Ohio, but we got Ameris Bank out here in Florida. That's another one that I want you guys to check out. Bank United is another one that we got out here in Florida. I think I've seen them in Georgia. Don't quote me on that, but I think I've seen them in Georgia. What was that?
I've seen Bank United before. Yeah.
Yeah. Southeast for sure. I can definitely speak on Florida. Out here, we got them in the swamps. And then I got a bonus option for you guys. I lied. I said,
Pro tip.
I said 7, but I got 8 for us. Acorns. I like acorns. I don't know if you like acorns. You like acorns or no?
And it's cool. I'm indifferent to it. Tell me about it.
You know, I like acorns just because of the simplicity of getting in. If I'm just being honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Simplicity of getting in.
That's cool.
That's really the only reason. The reason why I gave it, even though I know Rad is like biting his tongue right now, but open discourse. Why doesn't Rad like it?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I never had acorns, so you know,
it's simplicity, bro.
I know.
Bro,
I like simplicity.
It's a
bro, listen, simplistic guy. I got an iPhone for a reason.
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I know.
It's a Band-Aid, guys. It's a Band-Aid. Of the banks that I would give you, acorns would probably be the last one. Obviously, I give it to you as a bonus. Chase is definitely one that I would want to get in, especially as I start going deeper into business funding. I don't know how you feel about that, but those are like,
for sure.
He doesn't like acorn. No, he doesn't like acorns. I should have left acorns off because Rad just isn't a fan of them.
No, it's cool. I'm indifferent to it. Hey, man, if you like it.